So that's a depiction of the fool, or the prodigal son. More or less the same story. When you look at it, when you go deep into it. And that only came to light by me reading this book here. This book is something else. Man, it took me an extra long time to read this book because it's one of them books. Every single page, again, like the Book of Secrets, there's so much dropped in there. So you have to go back to the back of the book, to the notes, to get more info on what it is that you've just read. And then obviously that leads on to more research. You're having to Google this, Google that. But that's what makes it so brilliant. It's just jam-packed, full to the brim. You can't read this book once. You have to go through it many times. Just keep it as a reference book. If you're on that path. If you're not on that path, then it's just, it won't have no meaning to you. It's basically a book about this guy here, Mark Hetzel. He was a fool. He was a fool. And that's what the book is all about, the fool's path, the initiatic path of the fool. And it's like a biography of this guy's life, this mystic, magician, going from place to place, country to country, with some of his fellow initiates, meeting other masters, trying to gain more insight into life and the meaning of life and the levels of life on this particular path. It's a fascinating story. You witness what he's thinking, what is gleaned from certain situations or live initiations on his journey. Some horrific when you get deeper into the book. And it will open your eyes to a lot of things. The underlying notion of this book, for me, is if you're on another particular journey, if you're of a particular school of initiation, this will give it so much more sense. This will pierce some veils for you. You'll understand a lot more of what it is that you're doing. Like I said, it's jam-packed full of information, a lot of it coming from the medieval mindset, the symbolism of cathedrals, alchemical symbolism from the Middle Ages, linking back to the monuments of Egypt and the Hermetic laws pertaining back to the higher sciences of Egypt and whatnot. But most people don't see or don't endeavour to go any deeper into. So this book here, it was in my basket, and it was like laying around in my basket on Amazon, and I was like meaning to buy it because I read the synopsis of it and I thought, yes, I need to get this book. But it's one of them ones you buy other books and you keep on buying other books that pop up and blah, blah, blah. And it's just there in the back of your mind. But it was always there. I was always going to get it. Until one day, this older, I'm going to call him an initiate. I'm going to call him an initiate. This old geezer that I've got friendly with over the last year or so. You know them strange occurrences where you're just speaking to a total stranger and then something's noticed, the person says something that pricks your ears up, and then you just carry on from there, and then before you know it, you realise that this person's on the same path as you. So basically, yeah. So me, I'm calling him a friend now. Me and this friend, we have these long conversations every time we bump into each other. And he says the same thing that any other person says when they're on this particular path. He says he can't speak to anybody. Everyone thinks he's crazy. You know, and it's like a breath of fresh air when he comes to speak to me. Because I'm like one of like probably 2 or 3 people that he can speak to about certain things. So he said, Glenn, have you read the Zelator? So immediately my ears pricked up because I was like, that's that book that I've been meaning to get. And obviously, if you're a Rosicrucian, your ears will prick up again because of the name. Like I say, I study Rosicrucianism myself. So that's another reason why I thought to myself, I need to get this book. Anyway, he's saying, Glenn, he goes, have you ever studied tarot? I goes, yeah, I've got a deck. Yeah, I study tarot. Tarot is deep, man. It's yeah. But I didn't go any deeper into it because I wanted to know what he knows. Because obviously, he's an older man. I think he's in his 70s or something like that. And I want to know his wisdom. Because I'm always listening to people to enhance myself. So I thought, yeah. I study tarot. What do you know about tarot? So anyway, he's telling me, have you ever been to Spain? I said, no, I haven't. I've never been to Spain. He goes, well, you know the Fool on the tarot? I was like, yeah. He goes, in a particular cathedral in Spain, he said, I was visiting one time. He said, I was in a cathedral and lo and behold, there was this massive engraving or statue on the wall, not of one of the saints or whatever, but of the Fool. He said he's got his knapsack, his staff, and the dog's with him. I was like, you're joking? In a cathedral? He said, yeah. He goes, well, he says, if you're into this particular mode of thought, he says, get this book, The Zelator, because it's basically about the initiatic path of the Fool. It was it was the main path of the medieval European initiates. The Fool, hence the bards, the guys that used to go around with their guitars and sing their songs of love. They're always love songs, basically denoting the hermetic marriage. Like in the Bible, the Songs of Solomon is talking about a lover, the lover between the psyche, the soul, and the spirit connecting to each other. Just like in the fairy tales, the handsome prince having to go through the forest and meeting up with the sleeping beauty. So all of this now is explained in this book, the Zelator. And I thought to myself, yes, I need to know more about this path of the fool. And basically this is what it's all about. And like I said, Mark Hetzel, this is an initiate, finding himself on this path, basically saying that you don't find the path finds you, so to speak. And if you are persistently, earnestly trying to get to the knowledge of self, then yeah, the path will find you. You'll find yourself in some strange situations and booking up on some interesting people along the way. So yeah, I think this was published in 1998, the Zelator. So it's a few years old now. The chapters are just numbered, so it's not telling you anything about what it's all about on every individual chapter from there. But obviously, as you go through it, it will do. So basically, each chapter, it starts like this. You've got like a little poem or an anecdote. So from the get-go, you've got something to contemplate over. It's just a book full to the brim with wisdom. And every so often it's got like little pieces of art like this, esoteric art. And it's noted. So you can go to the back of the book and research more about what it's about, all the symbolism. Here's a medieval fool. So you'll see these all about medieval art. These fool characters. The fool going about life like in the tarot. And each tarot card changes, denoting a different level of the fool. Or a different level of you, your psyche, and how you build it up through the journey through life. And you can only struggle with resistance, like weight training, isn't it? The spiritual resistance of being embodied in matter. That's why the French term for the fool is le mat, denoting matter. The fool, it has to be foolish. The spirit has to be foolish to descend into matter, to go through the pain of life. But through that pain, you build yourself up into an extraordinary being through the constant initiation of life. So basically, this is what the book's about, or this is what the path's about. It explains all this. You see, you'll see some interesting art here. This is a Saracen. Some engravings of walls and of pictures in medieval times of the blackamoor or the Saracen. I always thought this was a headband, but apparently not. It was a blindfold. And this is a picture of denoting the blindfold being removed. That'll get a few people's ears pricked up who's been through certain initiations. Very, very interesting. So let's go to the back of the book. This is another interesting book as well. See if we've got any pictures for you. So the back of the book, you've got more. This is an alchemical graving. Egyptian. All explained. Michael Meyer, the alchemist. So you got pictures like this, all hideous. To the medieval mind, this would be like, oh, devil worship and blah, 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 blah. Just like when people were scared of Baphomet, looking all horrendous with a goat's head and stuff like that. It's all symbolism. It's a composite. It's all put together. You got wings on the feet, look like Mercury, denoting Mercury. You got a serpent's tail, denoting wisdom or whatnot. You got some strange wings, a human head. In and of itself, it's like crazy, some crazy image. But no, it's just bits put together, telling a story. So obviously for the mundane, they can't make head or tail of it. That's why initiates used to get killed and persecuted, because people didn't know what the hell was going on with all of this. Oh, you're worshipping the devil and blah, blah, blah. You have to run for your life or else you get burned at the stake. But no, this is like code. It's code. That's all it is. Explaining something to you. Now, I think this is the clock in Prague, I think, Czechoslovakia. Some sundial. And obviously it's got a story, esoteric story behind them, so I'm going to have to visit that. But yeah, so you've got all your templates at the back. Hindu eyes, very similar to the Egyptian eyes. And like you got the world of notes. World of notes. To bump up what's going on in the meat of the story. A lot of is explained in here, astrology, everything. It goes in, proper goes in. So the Zelator. There's the order number. Let's read what it says. There is such a thing as magic. It was one of the first things that Mark Hetzel said to me shortly after we started working on the book. There is such a thing as magic, he said, but it has been misunderstood. I looked at him inquiringly, in the hope that he would develop such a tantalizing theme. Most people think of magic as the subverting natural laws, he continued. However, real magic does not avert anything, subvert anything. Magic is merely the result of directing the creative activity of the spiritual world into the material plane. Those who know the rules for inviting such spiritual intervention are called magicians. See, it's very scientific about what he's talking about. So yeah, if you're on that path, this is a fantastic book to get. Fantastic book. This will keep you busy. Trust me, this will keep you busy. I couldn't put this book down. I think I got through it in a week. And like I say, I was skipping from notes to notes as well, trying to get more understanding of what it was that was being read. But it's a book that you can go to time and time again. It's ram-packed. So there you go, the Zelator. Peace.